Hi, everyone. Welcome back to Heart Astrology Podcast. I'm Adriana, joined with my grandmother, Caitlin, from Bhakti Galactic Healing, and we are here to share our heart-to-heart perspectives on the current galactic astrology that is happening. We are focusing in on the end of July and going into August. So August is looking a lot more positive, I would say. Would you agree too, Caitlin?
Yes. Yes.
The tension kind of, yeah, lifting a bit more. We're
Mhm.
coming out of the dog days of summer, as it's called, with the Sirius energy.
Mhm.
That's what that actually came from. It's derived from that, the dog days of summer. So coming out of that into August time, and Caitlin is going to be sharing some really great information on Neptune and Saturn with its tight conjunction that it's been making and it will be continuing to make until 2027, I believe. There's also a alignment that you see with Scheat in the beautiful Pegasus constellation. And then I will be sharing more going into August time with the Sirius energy, in particular with Jupiter and that nice positive energy there, as well as the infamous Lion's Gate and the full moon, which is the day after. And we do have some oracle cards and messages that we'll share as well. So if
Yeah.
you are returning, thank you so much for tuning in once again and being part of our heart to heart family here. Please
Mhm.
like this video, comment down below. Let us know how you're all doing. We have a ton of stuff going on currently at the time of this video with retrogrades happening. Um, 4 retrogrades going on right now. We have Neptune and Saturn, which Caitlin's going to talk about here shortly. And Mercury retrograde is starting here in a couple days.
July 17th.
July 17th, yes, thank you. And that will be ending August 10th, that is. And then Chiron is also retrograde. So we've got a lot happening here. So the energy might feel a little bit intense. I do feel like Jupiter's kind of helping things, kind of
Mhm.
giving it more of a positive note. Yeah, so if you guys are new, Caitlin, do you want to share a little introduction about yourself for our newbies here?
Yes. Been involved in metaphysics my whole life. 69th year of being on this earth. And yeah, just galactic astrologer now for over a year, right? We talked about that, I think.
Yeah.
Um, and um, and then been doing astrology for a much longer time and Reiki and all kinds of wonderful metaphysical activities. And my channel is Bhakti Galactic Healing. And we both appreciate when you check out our channels, and many of you have. I would love to see another influx of people joining. It's been a while. It's been quiet. I had like 40 people jump in all of a sudden, and then now
Mm.
it's been kind of quiet. So would love you to subscribe and join, like as Adri said, our little family. And we both do individual videos as well. And I just did my first one in a long time with a healing guided imagery. And it's on my channel. And it's also on Julia Balaz's Galactic Astrology channel. And so if you feel like you need a little help with all these crazy retrogrades going on and all the things happening, please join me on that video.
Like I mentioned, I'm Adriana. My channel is Starry Sky Readings. That's the name of all my social media, Starry Sky Readings. I'm also a galactic astrologer, same as Caitlin. Been certified for over a year now. I've been a intuitive tarot reader for the past 5 years as well. So I like to mix in divination with my readings as well and have that part of your report. We both do transit readings too, so if you're not interested in like the past life or the galactic stuff, we can tell you what's going on now. How the heck can I deal with all this craziness? We can help you navigate that energy that's currently happening for you too. So,
Wanted to just add really quick, one of the things we can do is if you find that you have an interception in your chart, we can help you with that, decipher that. I have where we live in Ohio, we have quite a few people that come forth with interceptions, and we'll have to do a
do you?
video on that.
Hmm.
Yeah, we do because of the latitude longitude lines in this area,
Ah,
and and it's more to the northern hemisphere than the southern hemisphere. Um, and anyway, so if you have that, remember us, because I've done a lot of, in fact, most of my reports have been interceptions, and I think it's a positive thing. And if somebody's telling you it's negative, please contact me because I don't think it's negative at all. All right, let's get on topic here. So Saturn enters Aries, has entered Aries rather, back on May 24th of this year. And it's going to remain with us in Aries until April 12th, 2028. And then Neptune entered Aries on March 30th of this year and will stay until March 2039. I just want everybody to realize how long these transits and these conjunctions and things are. They're very long. And the Saturn-Neptune conjunction in Aries is a significant astrological event. So it's spanning from May of 2025 all the way to February of 2027. And it has the most intense period occurring in early 2026. And these two pairs line up every 36 years. And Saturn has a shorter duration in zodiac signs as it travels through the signs, usually every 2.5 to 3 years. And it has to catch up to Neptune's 14-year cycle. So that's why it takes like a total of 36 years. But these two powerhouse planets are almost conjunct right now. And this is going to happen around, or it has probably already happened when you see this video on July 15th. And it will be at a half a degree of an orb. I mean, that's really getting close. It's an exact conjunction with Saturn and Neptune in Aries on February 20th, 2026. And it's going to be at 0 degrees, 45 minutes. Okay, and I will show you a chart with this a little bit later in the talk here. So this is, again, a very major event. And I love Rick Levine, and he has a great video out right now on his Astrology Night video. You might want to check it out. He's such an astrologer extraordinaire. He is so wise and done this 50 some years. But he said that we have not had an exact connection like this in 3,000 to 4,000 years. Okay, so how about I show you this right now? Aries in Saturn and also in Neptune are at 0.45 right here and right here. And this will be February 20th, 2026. Now notice who's riding along on this journey. So this, when we're exact there, so conjunct Scheat, and I'll talk about that in a little while, but we've got a bunch riding along together here. We've got the supergalactic center opposed. We've got the sextiles going along with Pleiades, who are going to be really riding with us for this whole time. Take a little break when Uranus goes back into Taurus. But we've got Aquila, Altair. We've got all these ones hanging out, and they will be very instrumental when we reach this point in February 2026. But I want to kind of backtrack a little bit.
So just so I can ask a question real quick,
Sure.
just so everyone understands too, that is when we're getting closer and closer to that.
We are
type.
exact. We are exact
Yeah.
on that. Exact. That's as
So
exact.
that energy is going to be intensifying as we get closer to February.
Oh, yeah. And it's very close right now, too, which is interesting.
Mm-hmm.
We're at, I think, a half an orb. So we're at 0.50 right now. So all this time, it'll go from the 0.50 to the 0.45 is where that exact is taking place on the 20th. Okay. So for those who don't know that much about just Saturn in general, Saturn itself is going to leave Aries on April 12th, 2028. And it will mark the end of a transit with Neptune. So that's when that's going to happen. Okay. But Neptune's going to continue on to March 2039. What does this all mean? So Saturn is a planet bringing the gifts of self-mastery, successful career, fulfillment of long-term goals, and it even rules governing laws and strategy. Its favorite word is structure. When Saturn in Aries retrogrades, and it's done that on July 13th of 2025, just recently, and it's going to go direct again on the 27th. So when it's in a retrograde, Saturn in retrograde can bring some disturbing things, such as laws can be overturned. And this actually happened during a Saturn retrograde when Roe Wade was overturned. That's one of an example of how that can be affecting it. So retrogrades for every planet bring a time to review, redo, reinvent. And in the case of Saturn in Aries retrograde, it's affecting structure, habits, relationships, especially relationships with authority, and especially in relation to your career. These can all come up under the microscope to be checked out to see if the goal that was set is on target, or have you digressed from original goals? Sometimes this can be good, allowing for a fresh approach or a reevaluation, even a redirection of the goal itself. So ask yourself, do I really choose this? I think it's important to know that. And also if you have like job reviews coming up, to be very aware right now. I think it'd be very important that you are up to snuff on your goals. Does that make sense, Adrian?
Yeah.
Let's zero in real quick on Neptune. So Neptune is a planet bringing gifts of dreams, desires, and intuition. Neptune in Aries ignites energy. Neptune in Aries brings inspiration into action. Neptune in Aries just went into retrograde on July 4th and it's going to be with us all the way retrograding until December 10th. So we have an opportunity to deeply look at our dreams and desires right now and ask ourselves, do they align with our career and goals? Which brings us to how Saturn and Neptune in a conjunction may affect one another. So during this long-term conjunction, you may experience challenges around how you perceive grief and loss, as well as not feeling you are getting what you want or choose, and possibly feeling a loss of what has been known, what we are familiar with. So there may be a past pain resurfacing, especially around patterns you just don't want to change. Ask yourself, where do I feel stuck in the muck? Okay, two areas stand out. Addictive patterns and avoidance patterns, as well as the opposite when we're hyper responsible or hyper independence patterns. And of course, I'm describing codependency there. That's what can happen in a relationship. So utilize the retrograde energies around this conjunction to review, reevaluate, and be open to reinvent this area of your life, whichever side you're on, whether you are not responsible enough or too responsible. So take a look at that and how you're experiencing it. What can be promising is at some point you may realize you can't breathe life into something that is already dead. And on the flip side, you may discover more about what is working, and the light may shine on the way toward a new path, which we have an opportunity for in early 2026. There are several star families that will be traveling with us on this conjunction journey, July 28th. That's coming up pretty soon. I want everybody to be able to see. Saturn in Aries in retrograde is going to conjunct Scheat, which is part of the Pegasus constellation. Okay. And again, if you remember what I showed you back with the 2026, February 20th, look at all the partners on the journey that are there all the way back to now. Okay. We still haven't gone to where Neptune is going to change over yet, but we're going to get close to that in a little bit here. But I just want you to see how, look at how once Uranus is in Gemini, the Pleiades is conjunct. That's it. When it pops back into Uranus and Taurus, we lose the Pleiades conjunction. So just to be aware of that. In addition to Scheat, we will see that Altair and the Pleiades, I mentioned that, are trines and sextiles, also Alpha Centauri, but it's going to really show up when we get into the August 14th. Now, ta-da! On August 13th/14th, guess what? Saturn in Aries gets joined by Neptune in Aries. And here is where the journey really begins with this conjunction towards that February 20th, where they're right on target with Scheat the whole way, the whole way. So if you're in Aries, Pisces, or certain people, you're going to have a lot of things going on in your lives. So, period, because it is conjuncting those points of Pegasus. I feel it's going to be quite positive if that's how you approach it. How do you feel about that, Adri? Because we both know quite a bit about Scheat. What is your opinion?
Yeah, I mean, it's a very, water elemental type of energy, right? So when I think of that going retrograde with those planets, it's kind of like going under the surface, right? Like if we use that analogy with water, kind of going back under the surface, maybe reevaluating some things, especially with Saturn,
And hot
and that
water.
Neptunian, yeah,
Yeah,
the
hot water.
Neptunian energy reevaluating, yeah, dreams and your aspirations and your goals, all that kind of stuff. So, you might kind of take a step back in order to get on the right track. So I feel like that's kind of going with what you were saying as well.
And remember, it's hot water because of the Aries, heating it up into steam at times, steamy stuff.
Especially
So,
with government things too, with Saturn. Yeah, definitely with
oh yeah,
Shiat too.
absolutely.
Can bring that out.
Yes. Just a little aside here, really quick. Just as you could see, Uranus and Gemini is going to be there most of the time. The only time it won't be is when Uranus goes back into Taurus from November 7th, 2025 to April 26th, 2026. And then on April 27th, 2026 until the very, very end of that, which I think is 2033. So we've got these long transits. Gemini will be back as the main zodiac sign till the end with Uranus. The Pleiadian star family is going to be involved with us from the majority of this time. What could they bring? And what will they bring? This is what they've told me. These are my guides, our Pleiadian. And they say evolutionary advancements. Fascinating. Evolutionary advancements, not revolution. I'm sure that could happen too, but evolutionary. So I'm fascinated with that when they said that. Freedom, innovation, and especially improvements in the entire area of communication. So I'm really hoping that it could be the possible advent of telepathic communication becoming more prevalent because this is going to be something that's going to go over time. There's not going to be some big like boop, everything's going to flip in a second. Okay. It doesn't work that way. And I pulled two oracle cards that definitely are speaking to this. So Rebecca Campbell, I just love her Starseed Oracle. Let me show a little picture of that right there. And the Blue Flame card came up, the Blue Flame. And can everybody see that? There we go. Okay. This card is about spontaneous awakening, activation, and integration time. And what was amazing is here I'm talking all about the Pleiadians, and then what does she say? The blue beings are thought to be activating beings with great potential for healing and upgrading our cellular structures. They appear in moments of extreme awakening, and in some cases, activating Kundalini awakening. Which I actually had an experience of many moons ago, and my guides are Pleiadian, so go figure. I know who was involved in helping me with that. I love this card because it's not going to be something that's going to happen like everybody's going to collectively just shift. I know a lot of people talk about that. I think there's a good 8-year period of time and it kind of coordinates with Uranus and Gemini, which is interesting. But there will be personal, individual awakenings, which will cause the collective to become more awake. And it's not like what we've been having happen now. What could be different is there will be more people individually awakening maybe than ever before. So that part, yes, is different.
I just wanted to agree with you on
Sure.
that. I don't feel like it would be just, snap of a finger, everybody's shifted into this. I do feel like it's more gradual. It's a transition time. And interesting that it might, yeah, kind of line up with that Uranus and Gemini. So I think
Yes.
there's
Yep.
something to that. That feels
Yep.
right.
It
Hmm.
feels that way. That's of course,
Hmm.
the Pleiadians are always connected to that Gemini sign. Um, well, and then my second card called, whoops, called Called. I thought that was funny. So, what are the meanings around it? Soul gifts and training. It is time to step up. They're calling us out. We have personal and collective missions. This card totally speaks to Marianne Williamson's prayer, born to manifest the glory. I've said this before, I think, in a way long ago video that we did. But I really feel like I'd like to share it now because this is, I feel, probably one of the most important prayers. And it comes from her book, A Return to Love, which is a great book if you want to read it. It's timeless. It's a timeless book. You could read it anytime. It doesn't have to be from the past, that it's only good then. She made it very timeless as she did this prayer. So I'm going to end with this prayer. And I feel this is what it's about this is about finding your calling and not being afraid to step up to the plate. Okay. So Marianne Williamson's Born to Manifest the Glory. Our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. It is our light, not our darkness, that most frightens us. We ask ourselves, who am I to be brilliant, gorgeous, talented, fabulous? Actually, who are you not to be? You are a child of God. Your playing small does not serve the world. There is nothing enlightened about shrinking so that other people won't feel insecure around you. We are all meant to shine, as children do. We were born to make manifest the glory of God that is within us. It's not just in some of us, it's in everyone. And as we let our own light shine, we unconsciously give other people permission to do the same. As we are liberated from our own fear, our presence automatically liberates others. And that's what I have to share.
Yeah, very beautiful prayer to share with everyone. And lots of long transits happening, right? There's so many long-term commitments with the energy going on right
Totally.
now. And one of the things that I'm going to go into now, something that comes up a lot every year, as Caitlin knows too, it's been coined as Lionsgate. So this is on the 8th of August, and it comes up every year because the sun is in, of course, the sign of Leo. Happy birthday, Leos, by the way. It's Leo season by the time you're watching this, probably. So, or even going into Virgo season if you are watching it later on at the end of the month. So, yeah, I just want to give some information on what this is and also the full moon that's going on literally the day after this. So, looking at those energies with Sirius that's happening. Right. So, this is the chart for the 8th of August here, that energy that you were just talking about. Here's Neptune and Saturn there that Caitlin was just talking about. Look how it's right on top of each other, 1 degree there with Scheat. So, that is happening at the same time and it's opposing Mars. So, bringing in that friction there with that fiery energy, and Libra's trying to balance it out the best it can with that tension there. So that's kind of an interesting thing to point out as well on the day of this. And of course, the sun here is in Leo. Mercury retrograde is in Leo as well during this. So watch out with that, with Mercury retrograde. So we might kind of regress back a little bit in terms of our communication and being careful of not jumping the gun on things and not rushing into things. So just a little side note there. So I want to bring up Sirius. So Sirius A, it's the brightest star in our night sky, and it was a very, very popular one with our ancient people. As I said in the beginning of this video, we've just come out of the dog days of summer, as it was called. And that comes from it being so hot in certain climates, obviously. Now, for others, this was a good thing. So if you were in the more Celtic region, this was more of a happy time, but for others, it was not so much with fires and things like that. But anyways, with this lining up here, I just wanted to point out I think there's been a little bit of misinformation, which is kind of funny because that happens with Mercury retrograde too. Misinformation can come out or miscommunication coming out around this period of time. And it's not so much that the sun is aligned to Sirius, as some things have claimed. It's actually Jupiter is aligned to Sirius this year. So I just wanted to show that there's this beautiful positive energy here with Jupiter being in Cancer. We got Venus in Cancer, conjunct that as well. If you want to go back to only a couple of videos back, I actually made a video all about Jupiter in Cancer and the summer transits. If you want more details on that, you can check out that video. It's on my channel and on the Galactic Astrology channel. So this brings in a very positive energy. So I feel like it kind of lifts up the tense energies like we see with this opposition here. Let's go into the next day, because the next day is the full moon in Aquarius. So that is here on August 9th. We have this beautiful energy happening with a grand air trine. You see this triangle right in the middle here with Mars and Libra once again coming up here with this trine to Pluto and Aquarius with the constellation of, the fixed star with Altair. That brings in a very freedom-loving energy, kind of similar to the Pegasus energy, and coming up here to the Pleiades, bringing that healing energy. So there's overall, I would say, this nice healing aura coming through here. So what this means to me, with this grand air trine on the day of this full moon, and there it is here in Aquarius, this brings in clarity on misinformation collectively, but clarity on miscommunication personally. So in our personal lives, because of that air energy and the Mercury retrograde. So I know a lot of us are seeing that, right? With the media and all those things, lots of convoluted information not coming out, or, suppressed information. That I think is going to be kind of coming through here. We're going to see more of a resolution of those things, being more clarified. And of course, like I said, in our personal lives, wanted to share that. But also, if you would like to see too, when does Jupiter actually make this conjunction? It is going to actually be a bit earlier here. And I believe it's, yes, August 5th is when Jupiter lines up to the beautiful, bright Sirius A. So that's when it actually starts. It's a few days before. So I'm really kind of focusing in on that week. Again, it's bringing in a lot of light pouring in, clarifying, bringing clarity. And with the full moon too, I feel like it reveals information. And to also go back to the numerology aspect of 8th of August, felt goes to the tarot, which is the strength card. And it's Leo. This card corresponds to Leo, which again, happening during Leo season, right? So I think that is definitely some sort of synchronicity there. And it's the message of having strength through these tough times and these tense energies. And that is kind of bringing in this uplifting nudge and push forward for all of us collectively. And that is with, that infinity symbol too. I meant to point out there, you see infinity symbol here. So completions, endings, karmic cycles ending, and then new beginnings starting, right? So that also, I think, corresponds to the Magician card in the tarot deck. This also shows the infinity symbol here above the Magician's head. This is about manifestation. So again, endings of cycles, so new ones can manifest and come in. So yeah, I feel like there's going to be this kind of shift coming in. And like we kind of said, what Caitlin was saying earlier about, things aren't going to happen just, instantly. It's going to be gradual. I think we'll start to feel it more into August and have more of a positive twist on things. So I am looking forward to that energy and seeing that kind of play out. To talk a little bit more about Sirius, so if those of you who have Sirius in your charts, you're likely very highly intuitive, and you might have even past life connections to ancient civilizations such as ancient Egypt. So I just wanted to read something very briefly from the Almanac of 2025, if it'll show. There we go. So just it's by Leah Leondertz, and this is, yes, for 2025, and about Sirius here. In ancient Egypt, the heliacal rising of Sirius coincided with the flooding of the Nile, which kept the land fertile. So this was a good thing for Egypt. They saw this star as a good omen here because it brought in that fertility of the land, new life, new growth, again, like new cycles beginning and old ones ending. So Sirius was associated with the goddess Isis. So those of you maybe who feel connection to Isis too, you might feel that even more so at this time, or if you've felt maybe a calling to honor her, you might feel it kind of in sync at this time for yourself. And this was also, to continue reading this, and the flooding was thought to be her tears over the murder of her husband, Osiris. So if those of you who are familiar with the mythology, that is what happened. So it was so important that it became the first date of the year in the Egyptian calendar, one of the earliest known almanacs. And again, this also mentions too how, the ancient Greeks saw this as the scorching one, this star. So it was not so nice if you're in Greece and feeling the heat over there during those times. So, but we're coming out of that in July and going into a more nicer tone shift into August. So again, to sum up what I shared, it just feels like a lot of light coming in, shedding light on dark places and clarity coming through. So we're going to receive a lot of clarification on things, I feel. Do you want to add anything, Caitlin, before I share my oracle message as well?
Yeah, when you did the tarot, I noticed that infinity symbol is also an 8, which I thought was interesting, over his crown.
That's, yeah, because
So
all you do and I didn't even realize my background too kind of looks like
yeah,
that, and I didn't mean
got
to do
that 8
that.
back there too. You do.
There
Oh
we
wow. I
go. So
that.
synchronicity there. I
Wow.
don't know.
Lots of messages coming in. I
That's
love
my
that. Yeah.
intuition, I guess, coming through, picking that background. Yeah, so just gonna share an oracle message now for all of you, just like a collective message for everybody here. So I pulled from my beautiful Moonology Oracle deck by Yasmin Boland, and I felt I should do this one because it kind of related to that full moon in August. But also I was kind of specifically looking at the Jupiter alignment to Sirius and what is this energy bringing for all of us? So the message here is, what do you need to release? This is for everybody. What do you need to release? And we are in the waning moon here in the picture, so that's kind of getting us ready before we go into the full moon, because full moons are all about release and new cycles, cycles ending and then new cycles beginning with the new moon, right? So what no longer serves us and doesn't serve our path, if kind of like what you were saying earlier, Caitlin, too, if something's calling you, it's not working out with something, but you're being pushed in the right direction, that kind of feels like that exactly with this as well, that energy here. So the bottom of the deck as well, it's new moon in Taurus, prosperity lies ahead. And that's another thing too, with Jupiter. It brings in prosperity. It's a very good alignment, actually, I would say, when it comes to money and stocks. Things might even kind of shift up in a positive way when it comes to finances. Maybe this is my hopeful thinking, but the housing market, that could be part of that as well, with that Jupiter energy and that being in Cancer. Cancer rules the home, so I'm kind of optimistic that that's some sort of positive shift with the housing market for a lot of people, as well as, of course, money, stocks, and things of that nature. Yeah, definitely a message of prosperity, but beyond even just materialistically, but the emotional side too of prosperity and what brings you a sense of fulfillment. So going beyond just the material things, but also, what brings you that comfort and fulfillment. And that goes back to releasing what isn't bringing you that so that you can reach your prosperity and success. So that is what I had to share today. And I'm so glad that we could join together to share our messages. Hopefully, this helps you all navigate this coming astrological energy. If you have any feedback, let us know. Let us know how you're doing too with the retrogrades or anything else that you want to share. I'm fully open too, by the way, for readings. I'm I'm all caught up, so at the time of making this video, I do have space for August for readings. And do you have any space open right now, Caitlin?
I
Or
I have 4 people right now waiting. So I probably in the fall would be a better time.
right,
So
okay.
a lot of Reiki things going on right now. So
You're still doing your astrology workshops as well?
I'm delaying that to the fall because I've got too many people. I had that workshop and then everybody signed up for it to have a report. And now I'm going to do their reports and then I'll do another workshop at a later date. Yeah.
Sounds
Yeah.
good. Sounds like autumn's the
Goes
right
down
time for
to-
you.
It takes me like a whole week of just like going in and out of there and then getting it done.
Me
And then I have
too.
an appointment with somebody. So
Yeah.
I'm busy.
Thank you all for watching this video. Again, please do like this if this resonated for you, if you found this helpful, and you can always refer back to it. I'll try to put in some timestamps if I can. We didn't do readings this time, so, won't be
Yeah.
as
Yeah.
difficult to find. So, but we hope to see you again in our next video, and stay tuned for next time.
Namaste.
Bye.